This video will contain spoilers. That kernel that I mentioned in my flight risk review, it's still lodged in my throat, so forgive me if I seem a little more different. Dogman, mixed ratings. I watched it in the cinema. Pete Davidson, Will Ray Hyrie, Isla Fisher, Ricky Gervais. I'm going to be honest, Flippy the Fish, the way that he was voiced just seems like your average English villain in a American kids cartoon. And as much as I love Ricky Gervais, I don't like it. They should have just cast an American rather than it being like some we want to do James Bond, even though this is a fucking kids movie about a dog who is a cop. Anyway, um, the reason why I went to see this is because the trailer seemed pretty good, and I've never read the books. I've never read the Captain Underpants books, but I did watch the Captain Underpants film, and I thought it was quite good. And I've like the animation style of this made me think it's similar, and I don't actually know. I didn't confirm it or anything, but I either way I went to see his film, and I thought it was quite good. The animation is fucking beautiful, and like the way they do certain things, like they'll have the words appear on screen, like it's a comic book. Amazing, love it. Um, Although there was something that they said at the start that kind of shot themselves in the foot a little. They said that the dog, like this was before the man and the dog were combined, that the human is excellent at like karate and things like that, but he's stupid. Whereas the dog, he's limited by the fact that he's a dog, but he's very intelligent. He doesn't act like it when he becomes Dogman. Like, but I mean, you can still have a very intelligent character, but still have like funny things happen to them because there can be unforeseen circumstances that prevent them from just immediately capturing the bad guy. Like, you don't have to have them act like a retard because it just doesn't make sense. It's inconsistent. Anyway, um, there one of the characters in this is the mayor of the town or the city that the film takes place in. She is realistically incompetent. There at the start, Dogman captures the bad guy already and puts him into the cat jail for cats. Excuse me, but he immediately escapes. Dogman captures him again, and he immediately escapes, and it happens over and over and over. And the mayor says, the chief of police says to the mayor, maybe you should get rid of the cat jail. It's a bad idea. It's easy to escape from. And the mayor goes like, oh, how dare you? My brother built that. Your brother's a fucking moron. You're a fucking moron. Resign. I'm sorry if you're a parent, or hell, if you're a kid watching this, like, trying to decide whether or not this is a good film. On my channel, if I'm talking about a kids thing, like the words I say will not be kid friendly because this is from the perspective of an adult, not from the perspective. I like when I watch things, I watch it as an adult, even if it's like the silliest thing in the world. But when I seen that and I came to that conclusion, I found it. I was thinking of like the Paw Patrol movie because in that the bad guy is the government, and I was thinking, if I had a kid, I would show both films to them to sort of teach them that do not trust the government. But the difference between this and Paw Patrol was in Paw Patrol, it was the bad guy, but in this, it's just a side character. So there's not. It's more subtle, and I don't think the child would learn as much from it than they would from Paw Patrol. Although I guess they could view government positions as a joke, which that's what they are. All my like literally everyone I talked to said this trailer looked terrible, but it didn't look terrible. And like the trailer was pretty good, and the film was pretty good. I wouldn't say it was worth 80% on Rotten Tomatoes, but like for the most part, it wasn't unfunny. There were some like fart jokes in there, but it wasn't all the humor, because you do have films written by adults thinking that that's all that children love when it isn't really. Yeah, I've run out of things to say. September 5, mixed ratings. What the fuck, The Independent? I watched it in cinema. Peter Sarsgaard. That's probably the only person in this I recognize. Yeah. At the end of the film, they said that 900 million people had watched the events of the film happen live. I had not heard of this before. So, like, I get it was over 50 years ago, but how the fuck did I not hear about this? Because this is a pretty big thing. Like, they said sometimes in the film that, like, because the hostages were Israeli, therefore Jewish, the fact that the Olympics were taking place in Germany, if anything happened to the hostages, it would look bad on Germany because of their history. And all the hostages died. So, like, I don't know how I didn't hear of that. Also, because I didn't know about the events and the fact that all the hostages died, it did increase the tension, especially with the fact that they initially, they heard rumors that the hostages all escaped, well, bar two. Um, and then they like 2 seconds later, they confirmed that the hostages got out alive, but they didn't, which increases the tension, increases the drama, increases like the whole overall entertainment value of it. But also, it does kind of show how it is very easy for miscommunications and things like that to spread like wildfire. I don't want to outright say misinformation, because of everything that has been happening in the past couple of years with that term. I try to avoid it. Um, Speaking of things like that, I don't know if they intentionally made this film now because of the whole Israel Palestine thing that's been happening in the past couple of years. I get that they've been at conflict since they existed, but the recent shit, um, I'm just I don't know if it was intentional or not. Uh, but speaking of the whole misinformation thing, it does kind of bring up a moral issue, because I'm kind of conflicted on it, and because this film is it's about a terrorist attack and it's being shown from the perspective of the news people. It's very conflicting, because if they're showing the film from the perspective of the police, the media would be the bad guys, because they made the situation worse by showing where the police were putting snipers up. But at the same time, like there's been other things where that happens, where the media, like Criminal Minds, there was an episode where people died because of the media. Um, but the fact that it's from the perspective of the news, I am conflicted, because on one hand, yeah, they're making the situation worse, but on the other hand, I feel like the people should know what's happening. Like, I've been thinking about things like that before, but um, I never thought about it as much until I watched this. And another issue is the fact that the news and all need to know literally every single fucking detail, and they want to broadcast every single detail. Like with Marcus, you know, they they doxed his address because they want the people to know. Like, but The difference between this, the situation of this film, and what happened then was that he made it a fucking joke. This is a terrorist attack we're talking about here. So it does bring up a lot of issues, and that plus the entertainment value of it, because it's not just, it's one thing for it to be just thought provoking, and it's one thing for it to be just entertaining. It is both, and it does both of them in spades. The fact that the Independent gave this a 2 out of 5, fuck you. Like, how could you not like this film? Like, what did you go into thinking it's going to be from the perspective of the police, and it's going to be this like big action thing? I guess the only reason why I could think of why someone wouldn't like it, or they're a boomer who, even though there's no violence in it, the fact that they talk about it and all that, oh no, we can't have that. It's too violent. Fuck off. That's everything I have to say about the film that I can think of.